At shooting guard, standing 6'5", number 2, Rodney Stuckey. At guard 6'2" from IUPUI, number 3, the hometown hero, George Hill. A 7'2" center out of Georgetown, wearing the double nickel, area 55. Stand up for the big dog, Roy Hibbert. At forward from Xavier University, number 21, he's a bad man, David West. At the small forward position, at 6'9", number 13, Paul George. Your home team head coach is Frank Vogel.
It's the Eastern Conference on display featuring the Detroit Pistons. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, to this broadcast of NBA basketball. I'm Kevin Harlan, and with me today, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. And it's the Pistons to start out. And a look at the starters for the Pistons. Josh Smith and Greg Monroe at the 3 and 4. Caldwell Pope out there with Jennings. And it's Drummond in at the 5 spot. And looks like the illegal pick was set. Yep, that's right. That'll get their attention.
Yeah, good call there. You could tell he was moving into the defender when he tried to set the screen.
Yeah, lowered that shoulder, dipped right into him, too. I mean, he was going to be called on that foul either way.
Jennings against Hill. Detroit with the rebound.
George Hill, an efficient combo guard. He was acquired by the Pacers in a draft day deal back in 2011. That was the Kawhi Leonard trade, with Leonard, of course, going to the Spurs. It's a trade that benefited both sides.
Now here's Stuckey. Inside to Hibbert. Basket is good. The assist from Stuckey.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a nice look.
Poor job by the defender to not fight over or around that screen.
Smith with a screen on Hill. Now the pass to Smith. He dishes it to Caldwell Pope. Somehow ignores the tight D and gets the way up. A little over a minute gone here in the first quarter. Hill against Jennings. Stuckey drives inside, and he gets it to go. And so it's Detroit with the ball. Smith sets the pick for Jennings. Now the dish to Smith. Trying to get open is Monroe. Smith's shot is good. Here's Hill. Feeds it to Stuckey. Pass to West. Stuckey kicks it to West. Soft touch off the glass.
Well, I think this is the start they wanted. Come out and put some points up early. 3 or 4 so far.
The Pistons have gone 2 or 3 here to start out the game. Outside Jennings. Monroe in the corner. Kicks it to Smith. Nice ball movement by Detroit. 5 on the clock. It's back to Jennings. And he's good on the 3 ball. Jennings has got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Outside Hill. Hibbert with the screen. Stuckey can't get it to go.
If they could end every possession with that shot, they'd be happy. 9 times out of 10, that's an easy layup for them.
The drive by Monroe. Count that one.
And they're nearly perfect from the floor early on. 4 of their first 5 shots they've drained.
Hill with it. And Jennings picks him up defensively. Passes to George. The kick out to Hill. West inside. Good. The assist goes to Hill.
Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well.
Moments ago, our Doris Burke had a chance to catch up with the coach, Frank Vogel. Doris.
A lot of his focus in preparing his team for this game centered around how they plan to deal with point guard Brandon Jennings. He said Jennings is a blur out there. He's so fast, and he plays with a relentless energy. It's a challenge for any team to really keep up with him. Kevin, we'll see if they can do it.
All right, Doris. And it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation. They turn it over. First quarter play and just over 3.5 minutes in. Hill kicks to George. 14 feet away, and it's good. George has got his first points in this one.
You can't give him that shot. I mean, a few open looks are all it takes, and he can really get rolling.
Now Jennings. He lobs it up. And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. Indiana leading. The Detroit Pistons, a proud franchise, of course, from 03 to 08, 6 consecutive trips to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Clark in 2004, the NBA title.
But the rebuild process has had its hiccups, Kevin, its speed bumps, if you will, some questionable free agent signings. There's talent there, but this team hasn't quite figured out how to come together.
Boy, he's so hard to stop, guys, because he poses a ton of matchup problems for the defense.
Dishes to Monroe. It's back to Jennings. Smith outside. Clock at 4. Paul George with the steal. West right side. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
And you look at the Pistons, some great size and athleticism inside, but they've lacked the high percentage outside shooting to space the floor offensively.
And for the Pistons last season, you look at the size and shot blocking ability, and you thought that team would be tougher defensively. But that wasn't really the case. I think it has to be attributed to mindset. Those young, big, athletic guys have to become much tougher mentally at the defensive end to be really successful.
First free throw is good. You got to give the front office a lot of credit with the Pacers for what they've put together.
Without question, Kevin. Prevailing wisdom in the NBA was that to compete, you needed to either be a big market free agent destination or kind of tank for high draft picks. The Pacers kind of did it their own way, building solidly and steadily through the draft and with smart, shrewd free agent acquisitions. The biggest one being David West a few years back.
And the key for the Pacers in constructing this club has been finding terrific value in the draft. Boy, Hibbert drafted 17th, Paul George 10th. Even George Hill was acquired for the 15th pick, so very impressive.
Indiana leading by 4. Guys, a potent offense right now.
Yeah, Kevin, really the offense is flowing quite nicely right now.
Playing with a lot of confidence, just some self-assurance there. I like what we're seeing.
And looking at the rise of these Pacers, it's hard to overlook the hiring of first-time head coach Frank Vogel, who's done a really nice job in leading that team. I think it all goes back to the front office, taking a team that could have been treading water and not realizing its potential and then molding and shaping them into a championship contender.
Smith outside. He feeds it to Caldwell Pope. Just 5 to shoot. Out of bounds, Indiana takes possession.
Such a careless pass. You've got to keep your head in the game here.
And here's Indiana. They're rolling here with a 9-point run. And the officials signal the backcourt violation. Not very careful there. Pistons trail by 6. Outside Jennings. Drummond with a screen on Hill. Jennings passes to Caldwell Pope. The feed to Drummond and stolen by Hibbert. Hill against Jennings. Hill dishes to Stuckey. West setting the pick for Stuckey. Out to the right wing. 6 to shoot. Outside, George. And good coming on the assist by Rodney Stuckey. And that's now 7 points for Paul George. Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over. The Pistons ended near the bottom of the East, guys, again, but still certainly a ways to go.
Well, a lot of their struggles, Kevin, came from just their inability to close out games against the rest of the conference.
Pistons trail by 9. Jennings kicks to Drummond. Smith with a screen on Stuckey. Kicks it out to Jennings. Detroit, no good that time either.
As a player, you always want to be able to answer back, but he just didn't have it in him that time.
Hill passes to West, and now it's a double-digit lead. And it's an 11-point Indiana lead.
They're really struggling defensively, giving up too many easy buckets.
And they've been on fire offensively as a result, Clark.
Outside Jennings, pass to Monroe. Fader on the way, misses off the left iron.
And a missed opportunity right there.
Definitely, I think he should have converted that one.
Stuckey dishes to Hill. West setting the pick for Hill. Clock at 6. West outside. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. Mahinmi's checked in for Roy Hibbert. And Detroit with a change here, too. Butler, he's checked in for Monroe. Pistons trail by 11. Into Drummond. It's tipped. Out of bounds. Pistons ball as Detroit keeps possession.
A nice play to get a hand on that pass and tip it out of bounds.
I tell you what, guys, if he gets there a fraction earlier, that's a steal.
The Pacers making a change here. Scola's checked in, and Detroit with a change here, too. Meeks is checked in. The shot by Butler, nobody around. Gets the three-pointer to fall. Butler's got himself going there, his first points of the game on the deep ball. Indiana leading by 8. And here is Hill. George with a screen on Jennings. Scola sets a screen for Hill. Jennings with the steal. And here's Jennings, the fast break opportunity. Not watching the line there. That'll be a backcourt violation.
With the number of turnovers they've committed, it's no wonder they're in the position they're in right now.
Yeah, but it's still early, guys. They just need to be a little more disciplined at that end of the floor.
Looking at who's out there now for the Pacers. C.J. Miles comes in for Rodney Stuckey. And it's Watson in for Hill. Detroit also making some changes. Jerebko's checked in for Smith. And D.J. Augustine subbed in for Brandon Jennings. Here is Watson. Scola, a screen on Augustine. Just 5 to shoot. Indiana needs to get a shot off. And there's George. That's good on the assist by Watson. 9 points here for George.
Excellent ball movement there, guys.
Yeah, I think that's what's keyed this run, Clark, because they're keeping the ball moving. Defense hasn't been able to set up.
Now here is Augustine. That's a 2 from Butler. And he sinks the shot coming off the strong pick. Butler Butler's got 5 now.
That's how to orchestrate for your teammate. Terrific pass.
George with the screen on Augustine. Watson kicks to Scola. The pass to Watson. Back to Scola. Fader on the way. And there are the Pacers with another bucket.
They've been hot here early, dropping them in left and right.
Let's see how long they can keep it going. This is quite a start. Well, the Pacers gave up a lot to acquire Luis Scola from Phoenix last season, especially for a player who probably didn't fit in the Suns' plans anyway. They gave up Miles Plumlee, Gerald Green, and a first-round pick. That shows you how highly they thought of the Argentine power forward.
Well, I tell you what, the post play has been rock solid right off the bat.
Well, that's the key to basketball. Get the ball inside, into the paint, either with a pass or with penetration.
Watson with it, guarded by Augustine. Watson, the pass to Mahimi. George double teamed. Here's Miles. A second chance effort. They get it back. Mahimi just couldn't take the lid off. They had their chances, but came up empty. Butler up top, defended by George. And it's Butler missing. And Scola, now 34 years of age, his field goal percentage, Clark, has dropped for 5 straight seasons.
Yeah, and his turnover rate rose last season as well, despite primarily shooting from outside. And I think part of that was the fact that he was a rotational player in a reserve for the first time in his career. He's been a career starter until just last season.
Pistons trail by 8. Here's Meeks. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Into Drummond. He kicks to Urebko. He dishes it to Meeks. It's blocked. They get it back. Butler from outside. And another 3 for Detroit.
And they've set up countless buckets off assists. That's a huge part of what they've been doing here today.
A lot of dime dropping going on out there, Steve.
So timeout called here, the first for Indiana. .115 left here in the first quarter. George dishes to Scola. Rebounded by Urebko. Pistons trail by 5. Now here is Augustine. Outside Butler. For the 3. That's good from Augustine. The assist by Butler.
This looks like a pregame shoot-around with all the threes they're allowing.
Yeah, I don't know, Clark. I think there might be even more defense in warm-ups. I mean, this is kind of embarrassing.
Watson's shot is good.
Easy little jump shot for him right there, guys.
Detroit's gone 4-7 from three-point range so far in the first. Right side, Butler. They set the pick. There's the dish to Augustine. Shot clock at 6. And misses it off the right side of the rim. Here is Watson. George with the ball. Feeds to Watson. And that does it for the first quarter. Pacers lead by 4. And the second quarter will be on the way when we come back. And now the second quarter just getting set to start. Hey guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for the Pacers.
You know, they've done a great job of getting a hand up on shooters. Actually have gotten a lot of blocks as well, solidifying that defensive effort.
And the other thing they're doing is forcing a lot of turnovers, and that's helping them to get easy points at the other end.
Indiana leading by 4.
You know, you can make a case for a lot of teams being elite defensively in the NBA, but if you just take a look at the pure numbers, last year the Pacers were really in a class of their own.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. On the floor for Detroit, we've got DJ Augustine. Smith is out there with Caron Butler. Then it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and it's Monroe in at center.
The class of their own is right for the Pacers. Second best points allowed, best in closing field goal percentage. I mean, they really did it all last year defensively.
Now here's West. Hill kicks it to West. 14 feet away. Good. The assist goes to Hill. And it's 9 points for David West.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
Monroe sets a screen for Augustine. And it's Smith penetrating. You mentioned the Pacers and their defense. It's something they take a ton of pride in.
Yeah, they do, Kevin, because they want guys that can defend their position without much help, because the system they play is predicated on being able to guard your guy one-on-one and then have good team help in the right places, and they do take a lot of pride in that part of the game.
This is his first free throw of the game.
Not the guy you want to see taking too many free throws. Last season, his numbers among the worst in the league.
And we saw it last year, guys, because those numbers were so low, teams weren't afraid to put him on the line where points were hard to come by for him.
Chris Copeland's checked in for C.J. Miles. And then for Detroit, Martin comes in for Caron Butler. And it's Jennings in for Augustine.
You know, Josh Smith is a very talented player, but if you have to pick his game apart, he's a bit of a tweener. You know, he's not really a power forward in a traditional sense, but not a three-man either. He's an athlete who can do a lot of different things, but so much depends on the players he has around him. It needs to be the right fit.
Here's Jennings after David West's bucket. Count the bucket. Monroe's got his second basket.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
Hill passes to West. And again, it's Indiana converting.
Well, offensively, he's taken a solid opening quarter and just built on it here in the second.
Hill against Jennings. Monroe with a screen on Hill. Jennings kicks to Smith. It's stolen by West. The drive by Hill. Shot is off. Great D that time from Martin. Pass to Jennings. The 11-footer, and that is good. Jennings has got 5 points so far. Pacers leading by 6. Hill dishes to West. Inside to Hibbert. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
And yeah, they're moving the ball now. 8 of their last 10 points coming off assisted buckets.
Steve, nothing makes a coach smile as much as pure, selfless teamwork.
Roy Hibbert, one of the biggest players in the league, Clark, 7'2" last season, bulking up to 290 pounds.
Yeah, he wanted to get stronger to better hold his position in the low post, and for a good portion of the season he did that, then he fell back into some old habits. You know, when he first joined the Pacers, the coach had him slim down to 250 pounds because the type of game the Pacers were playing was a little different. But he's a player who's best playing to his strength, and we mean that literally.
Now here is Martin. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard. And with that shot, the Indiana lead is cut to just 7 on the basket from Caldwell-Pope. Here's Hill. West setting the pick for Hill. West passes to Hill. Great D that time from Jennings.
And for Hibbert, it's amazing how far he's come with his conditioning. You hear stories from when he arrived at Georgetown, couldn't do a push-up, couldn't jump rope, said he could barely run. So to get where he is now just took a tremendous amount of work. That's just a case of two teammates working perfectly together, one setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation.
West setting the pick for Hill. Kicks to Stuckey. 5 to shoot. Shoots from 12. Jennings against West. Martin dishes to Jennings. Nice ball movement by Detroit. Outside Martin. Passes to Jennings. And Monroe kicks to Jennings. Detroit needs to get off a shot, and he gets it to go. 6 points for Greg Monroe.
And for Hibbert at Georgetown, you know, they had him doing everything from weights to dancing in an effort to develop his coordination and core strength. And he even embraced MMA training in the NBA. So he's really left no stone unturned in working to develop his body and his game. And you can see the fruits of that work and how he's performed over the last couple of years.
Now a timeout called by Detroit.
Well, some mixed results from the Pistons so far with their new acquisitions of Josh Smith and Brandon Jennings. Certainly a talent upgrade, but they didn't seem to move the needle all that much in year one.
Here's Jennings. 7 points in the game. This is to Caldwell Pope. Tries it from 9. Monroe, no good. And for Josh Smith, a 4-year, $58 million contract. A lot invested in this new-look roster.
Yeah, and they've got talented players, Kevin. A lot of them are young and still developing, have some room to grow. And it's about defining, accepting, and embracing roles. And we'll see if the Pistons can make all of that happen.
Here's Caldwell Pope following the basket by Rodney Stuckey. Monroe with a screen on Hill. A 3-ball. That's in, and the Pacer lead is cut down now to just 4 points with the basket from Caldwell Pope.
He had a whole lot of space to get that shot.
Yeah, I don't think the defender did a good job there of getting over the top of the screen.
Now here's West. 13 points in the game. Hill drives in. Just 5 on the clock. An easy 2 points on the layup. Hill's got 6 points in the quarter.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
Smith sets the pick for Jennings. Jacks up a 3. No good. And it's the Pacers taking it the other way. They've led by as many as 11 points. Outside Hill. He feeds it to West. Hill kicks to Stuckey. Rebounded by Greg Monroe. Pistons trail by 6. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, gentlemen, the Pacers head coach Frank Vogel has helped turn this team into a powerhouse. He's had a reputation for positivity, lifting his players up and boosting their confidence. As Paul George put it, coach has no shame in calling you out. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get embarrassed. No one wants that, Kevin.
He'll call you out, Doris, that's for sure. Thanks. Hill kicks to Stuckey. West a screen on Martin. Stuckey with it. And it's Martin picking him up. Stuckey into the lane. Here's Hill. And the shot is good. Hill's got 10 points in the game.
You know, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. And that's not something they should get away from.
Jennings passes to Monroe. Monroe left side. Now the feed to Caldwell Pope. Outside Jennings. Lets the 3 fly. There's the bucket. Good. He's got 10.
It took him a little while to get into the flow of this game, but now he's definitely found his stride and rhythm.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over. Contavious Caldwell Pope, KCP, drafted 8th overall last season by the Pistons. Steve drafting for Neither.
Yeah, Caldwell Pope coming out of Georgia. He's got that 3-point range. Really promising defender, too, at that 2-guard spot.
Mahinmi's checked in for Indiana. Paul George comes in for David West. And a different look here for the Pistons. Drummond's checked in for Monroe. Urebko comes in for Josh Smith. Singler, he's checked in for Martin. And it's Bynum in for Contavious Caldwell Pope. Here's Copeland. He's been patient so far, nothing yet on the scoreboard.
And KCP struggling somewhat with his shot in his first season. Mostly stayed on the perimeter. He didn't get inside that often to try to get himself going. Sometimes you can get your perimeter game going by going inside. So we'll have to see how his offensive game progresses as his second season goes on.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Well, over the break, I listened in on Stan Van Gundy's huddle. The focus of the discussion was getting their offense to run through Jennings. Coach emphasized getting him as many touches as possible, saying he is going to be one of the guys to carry us the rest of the way. Well, Coach not wasting any time in tweaking the game plan. We'll see if it makes a difference as we approach halftime, Kevin.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris.
And for Caldwell Pope, a volume scorer at Georgia. He's certainly shown the confidence to hit tough shots in the big moments in games. Sometimes rookies look to defer, but on a team in need of shot making, there seems a window for him to claim a larger role.
Here's George, following the basket by Brandon Jennings. Mahimi's shot is good. Mahimi's got his first points of the game.
And they're beginning to fall apart a little bit defensively, especially inside.
Well, that's 4 straight buckets now at the rim.
And Drummond kicks to Jennings. Drummond sets the screen for Jennings. Here's Jerebko. That falls. Great assist by Brandon Jennings. Jennings has got 5 assists in the game. Hill kicks to Copeland. George up top. The top of the key jumper is on the mark. George has got 11 points. Pistons trail by 5. Pass to Jerebko. And that one is stuffed right through. There it is, guys. That Olay defense. Just watching him go, Clark, right by.
I think we might be seeing which team is ready to take control of this game.
Yeah, that's a dunk that could absolutely get them going. I agree, Clark.
Nobody near George. Rebounded by Jerebko. Jerebko's got 4 rebounds now tonight. The drive by Bynum. Shot denied.
You know, not only is the game neck and tight, but the rebounding battle is too. Extremely close on the board.
Yeah, both teams have really put in a terrific effort down low.
Pistons trail by 3.
2 minutes.
On the pass to Jerebko. Bynum against Hill. Singler dishes to Drummond. 1:44 left now here in the second. George, no good.
Tell you what, as well as he shot in the last quarter, Kevin, it's a total flip here in this one. He just can't get anything to go in the basket.
Bynum, the pass to Singler. And Drummond throws it down.
Solid on the one-hand throw down there.
You know, Clark, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that right, Kevin. He's such a reliable finisher.
Now here's Stuckey. Outside Hill. Here's Mahimi, and he gets it to go.
Boy, after having a tough time in the first, he's managed to turn it around nicely this quarter.
Stuckey against Jennings. It's rebounded by Indiana. Copeland's got his 3rd rebound on the night. And it's George finishing it off.
And the defense just lets him go there.
And once he hit the open floor, there was no looking back, straight to the rack.
We'll see if they want to trade 2 for 1 here.
Well, you got to time up the clock. It's easier said than done, but you got to execute your offense on that first possession.
The shot's good from Bynum.
Well, he can squeeze himself into the box score every now and then.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Stuckey left side. He dishes it to Hill. He kicks it to Mahimi. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Stuckey. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. And that's now 7 points for Rodney Stuckey. Now here's Jennings. 14 points for him. Into Drummond. Up in time. The clock runs out, and we're heading to halftime. Pacers out in front. They lead by 6. And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Kevin, thank you. Here with Frank Vogel. And, Coach, you've got to be pleased with that first half. The ball was moving. Your guys were sharing. Things were going well for you. What about it pleased you?
Yeah, the game is simple when you make the extra pass, when you play the right way. We start out playing this way. We got to continue it for 4 quarters.
Thank you, Frank. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. We'll be back after halftime as the third quarter gets underway. Welcome back, everyone. The second half about to get underway, and it's been a close one so far. Nice game. Great performance by Brandon Jennings.
Well, he created a lot of opportunities for himself in the first couple of quarters. And I'll tell you what, he was smart with his shot making, too. Really took good ones.
You know, points per shot attempted is really one of the undervalued stats in the game, and it's a real measurement of efficient scoring.
So bring the force so when y'all come inside, we got a world for me and right here, not getting lost. So don't change the diesel, turn it up a little. I got a living room full of fine dime bristles, waiting on the whistle, and the shizzle. G's to the missile, my ladies who be missing. Do the crib, mom, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get it, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. Get an attitude, pop it like it's hot, pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. Got the money on my arm and I'm pouring. And I love my best because I got it going on. I'm a bad boy. When I lot of drop all the cars and wear my own clothes. I hang out tough. I'm a real boss. Big Snoop Dogg. Yeah, he's so sharp. On the TV screen and on the magazines. If you play me close, you in the red beam. And you got it. So you want to pop back.
Down low, Weston Hibbert. George Hill out there with Rodney Stuckey. And it's George in at the 3 slot. That's the group starting the second half for Frank Vogel. Stuckey kicks it to West. Some nice passing here by Indiana. Hibbert gets the bucket.
You know, it's a plus to get good looks in the paint, and when you can get them, you got to score them.
Pistons trail by 8.
Roy Hibbert, the big dog, number 55 for the Pacers, is 7'2", and is a little too big for king-size beds. Every time the Pacers go on the road, he has to take along a special inflatable mattress that he likes to sleep on. It's one of the downsides to living large.
Here's Jennings. 6 to shoot. Caldwell Pope kicks to Jennings. Jennings can't get that one to fall. And Hibbert's father stands 6'2", and Steve, his mother, is 6'1". But Roy obviously towers over both of them.
Well, he towers over everybody, Kevin. I mean, you know, you look at the family roots. His parents came from the Caribbean. Roy actually played one game for the Jamaican national team back in 2010, and unfortunately, that actually may rule him out of playing for Team USA. So a very interesting sort of international background there.
And Drummond throws it down.
Maybe that'll ignite him. I mean, impossible not to get pumped up after that. At least I think that would be the case.
Well, you can see the immediate reaction of the guys on the bench. They are. Look at them. They are pumped up.
Yeah, they're geeked.
That's what those alley-oops do, though.
Here's Hill. After the made shot from Andre Drummond. George with the screen on Jennings. Hill dishes to West. Hill drives in. And he gets it to go. Hill's got 14 points.
Well, he wasn't fazed at all by the bigger man on him. And on the low block, I thought he might be.
You know, Steve, I thought maybe he'd prefer to bring him out to the perimeter, but whatever works, go to it.
Here's Caldwell Pope. He's got 7. There's the dish to Smith. And it's good with time running down on the shot clock. Smith's got his second basket.
One of the reasons they're behind is because we haven't seen enough of that. He needs to become a bigger part of the offense.
Jennings against Hill. West, right side. And so it looks like the Pacers will retain possession here. Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, Kevin, no doubting Andre Drummond, an emerging star at the center position. As new coach Stan Van Gundy put it, I think we have two responsibilities to Andre Drummond that will help our team. Number one, do everything we possibly can to develop him as a player. And secondly, to put a system and personnel around him that will allow him to thrive. Kevin?
Doris, it sounds like he'll play a pivotal role. Thank you.
Yeah, Van Gundy perhaps envisioning him as Dwight Howard 2.0 in the middle. We'll see if, in fact, Drummond can live up to that.
Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. Hill passes to Stuckey. Feeds it to West. The jump hook, and good coming on the assist by Rodney Stuckey. Stuckey's got his 7th assist of the game with that last one. Now a timeout called by Detroit.
Well, there was a time not that long ago when Rodney Stuckey was considered a rising star in the NBA, considered a steal with the 15th pick in the 2007 draft. But after back-to-back disappointing seasons, I think it's fair to ask, have we seen the best of Stuckey already?
Outside Jennings. Pass to Caldwell Pope. In low to Monroe. It's stolen by Hill. Right side Hill. Second half here. We're just over 3.5 minutes into it. West, right side. Goes up on the wing. They get it back. Hibbert. Smith with some nice D.
Great defense in the paint there, making it tough on the offense.
That's what he brings, a presence. I mean, you saw it on that miss.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
In the break, guys, I listened in on Stan Van Gundy's huddle. He wants to see renewed effort from them on the offensive glass. He talked about the second chance points that are out there if they work for them. There was something else he mentioned, too. He wants them to utilize the pick and roll as much as possible in their coming possessions. Well, they need to make something happen before the start of the fourth quarter, and maybe those changes will do the trick, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. And here's Jennings. George Hill getting it to go from deep. Caldwell Pope kicks to Drummond. Gets it to go from 8 feet. Drummond's got 6. Indiana leading by 11. Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
A lot of pressure and expectation last year for the Pacers in the playoffs. No longer were they an underdog or a feel-good story. They were expected to make a deep run.
Detroit making a switch. Augustine's checked in. Outside, George. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, George has got the lead up to 13 now for the Pacers. And they would return to the Eastern Conference Finals after some scares for them in the early rounds. You saw it, but Clark, once again, they could not beat the Heat.
And the difference there, Kevin, was the mentality and fortitude of the Heat. Clearly the talent was pretty equal, but I thought the leadership of LeBron and the brilliance of Dwayne Wade was just a little too much for a young, evolving team to handle.
Good insight.
One of the problems for the Pistons last year was they seemed to collapse late in games. I mean, just found a lot of opportunities that went awry in due to poor performances in the fourth quarter.
Talk about the Pistons letting games go late. They were one of the worst teams in the fourth quarter in both defense and scoring.
free throw, good. Hibbert. Thinking again about Detroit Clark, it would have been fatigue or just careless basketball that did him in late, but they really did just run out of steam, it seemed like, every game.
Well, it shows that you can play well for 3 quarters, even great at times for 3 quarters, 36, 38, 40 minutes. But you and I always talk about it's a 48-minute game, and you've got to run through the finish line, not to it.
Well, to say that the Pacers did well in the East last season would be putting it mildly. They were the cream of the crop for most of the season.
And Augustine kicks to Caldwell Pope. On offense, here are the Pacers. They're on a 14-6 run. It's Hill on the wing, guarded by Augustine, and that one's good. And that's 19 points for Hill. And there was a brief moment late in the season last year, Clark, where the Pacers slipped from the top spot, but they were able to get it back.
Yeah, they did, Kevin. They fought back, grabbed the #1 seed in the East, and they did earn it. I mean, 38 conference wins is a pretty impressive number.
Indiana leading by 14. Now Watson. It's Hill on the wing. West setting the pick for Hill. 6 to shoot. And Roy Hibbert the bucket on the assist by Hill. 10 points for Roy Hibbert.
Solid work right there. And again, the field goal percentages. Look at the discrepancy between these two teams in the second half.
Well, you're right. We've got one team moving crisply to get good shots and the other team just a bit stagnant.
Nice shot by Smith. The Pacers have gotten 8 of their 11 shots to drop since the break. A great third quarter for them offensively. George dishes to Watson. Inside to Hibbert. Oh, that's blocked. And here's Augustine. And that's out of bounds. Detroit will retain possession. And some changes here for the Pacers. Luis Scola, he's checked in for Hibbert. And it's C.J. Miles in for George Hill. And Detroit with a change here, too. Jody Meeks, he's checked in for Caldwell Pope. Here's Augustine. Kicks it to Meeks. A shot. And good. Coming in on the assist by DJ Augustine. Indiana leading by 11. Passes it to Scola. Dishes it to George. They set the pick. Scola sets a screen for George. Miles the pass to West.
Great job defending the hoop there.
So important to have good presence defensively inside.
Here's Augustine, and the lead is down inside single digits. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back. Watson with it. Scola, a screen on Augustine. And George kicks to Scola. Tipped away. Stolen by Monroe. Now here is Augustine. He's tightly guarded. Over in the corner, Meeks. And a miss there on the triple. Indiana's gone 3 of 6 tonight when they've let it fly from downtown. And that one's good, George.
Well, it's kind of been the story here today, hasn't it, Clark?
Pistons trail by 11. Now the feed to Meeks. The shot misses. So the Pacers will take it the other way. At one point, they led by 16. And Miles kicks it to West. Goes up high for the two-handed dunk. Well, now they're just going to town on it.
Yeah, you'd think these defenders would have done a little more to put a stop to that stuff, Kevin, but so far, no go.
Well, a phenomenal aerial assault there, fellas.
Now here is Augustine. He has 5. That's in, and the Pacer lead is cut to just 11 on the basket from Monroe.
You know, he's knocking down his shots today, but it hasn't really translated to the scoreboard yet.
Greg Monroe, 6'11", 250, the ability to play the 4 or the 5 spot, and his combination of size and skill makes him very coveted around the league.
Scola against Smith. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up. And Monroe, very left-hand dominant, much better scoring from that side of the floor.
Yeah, and while being a lefty does throw defenders off, I think developing his right hand is something that will help him even get better as he moves forward.
And now we'll get a perspective here on how the hustle game has been going for Indiana.
You know, block shots, guys, a clear indicator on the stat sheet of their excellent defense. I mean, leaving them no room to get off any shots.
And the other thing they're doing, Clark, is scoring a lot of points off turnovers, forcing mistakes and cashing in.
And Indiana making a change here. Mahimi's checked in. Jerebko's checked in for the Pistons. So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe. Pistons trail by 12. Butler attacking. Now Monroe kicks to Meeks. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Meeks got 4 points this quarter.
They're not as aggressive from the outside here, but maybe they should think about stretching the defense a little bit, like they did in the first half. I mean, stretching the defense makes it easier to score inside, too.
Stolen by Monroe. Here's Meeks. He feeds it to Jerebko. To the left side wing. There's the 3. Count it, and the Pacer lead has been cut to just 7 on the basket for Meeks.
Oh, he's going to keep banging those home if you give him that much space.
Watson kicks to George. That's good, and the assist goes to Watson. And it's now 22 points here for George.
That's his first 3-pointer of the half. Remember, he did make one in the first half as well.
Now here is Augustine. He's got 5. Here's Monroe. Drops it in from 14 feet away. Monroe's got 12. 1:11 left in the third. And George, here we go. And it's wide right. It's off the rim.
You just assume he's going to knock those down when he's as open as he was there.
Meeks dishes to Augustine. Right side, Butler. No one near him. Good on the jump shot. He's got 10.
That is some real serious dime dropping there. Exquisite assist.
Watson, the pass to Miles. Screen by Scola. Watson kicks to George. Pass to Miles. He dishes it to Watson. Shot clock at 6. And Indiana, another 3.
There is no way a player like him can be left wide open like that. Did you pay attention to the scouting report?
Now here is Augustine. The pass to Monroe. Fade away, and Detroit again with the bucket.
And the D is having problems stopping the mid-range jumper. They're not really closing out on them as much as they should be.
Yeah, look at the numbers. 6 of the last 10 points have come by way of that jump shot, Clark.
And George kicks to Miles. The shot's good on the assist by George. Miles has got his first 3 points of the game. Here's Augustine. No good. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough to come back. Pacers lead by 10. And do not go away, as we'll be back in just a few moments with the start of our fourth quarter coming up next. Pistons trail by 10 and on the floor for Detroit here in the fourth. Jennings out there with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and it's Caron Butler. Then there's Andre Drummond, and it's Singler in at the small forward.
Unstoppable offense from both teams. I love the pace this game has been played at.
So does everybody else in the building. This has been a fun one.
Hill kicks to George. Hibbert with a screen for George. The 3 from Hill. And Indiana, another 3.
That's now a dozen straight points coming off wide open 3-pointers.
You know what it looks like to me out there, guys? I mean, it looks like All-Star Weekend out there. We know how much defense is played there. It's actually defense during the All-Star Weekend, no D.
So it's Detroit now. George Hill getting it to go from deep. Butler goes in.
You know, one of the basic fundamentals in basketball is the ability to box out. He's got that down pat.
George dishes to Hill. A little over a minute of the fourth quarter gone right now. Back to George. Indiana moving the ball around. Just 5 to shoot. That one goes. Count. And it's 9 points in the game for Stuckey.
They've stepped up their three-point shooting game in the second half. They're letting it fly out there with reckless abandon.
Now they're feeling confident, and they're in a good flow offensively, so why not just keep firing from out there?
First minute and a half of basketball played here in the fourth quarter. He kicks it to Hill. He's looking for Mahimi and finds him. Hibbert trying to free himself up. The shot by Mahimi, no good. Butler passes to Caldwell Pope. Jennings kicks to Drummond. It's back to Jennings. Drummond in the post, covered by Hibbert. Got a piece of it, and stolen by Stuckey. Now, here's the fast break. Stuckey leading the way. Hill dishes to George. It's back to Hill. Hibbert at the elbow. Rodney Stuckey on the wing. The dish now to Hill. From deep. They get the rebound. Mahimi misses in close.
He just has not been able to get into that groove yet, guys, but as a whole, it hasn't affected them too much.
And that's going to be too many steps. Gets the whistle on the travel.
He's not doing them any favors making those kinds of mistakes.
Especially now. I mean, every possession's so important for him.
West is checked in for the Pacers. And Detroit with a change here, too. Smith is checked in. For those just joining us, fourth quarter here. We're just over 2.5 minutes into it. Hibbert with a screen on Jennings. George with no one around. And good coming on the assist by Rodney Stuckey. Stuckey's got his 8th assist in the game. Here's Caldwell Pope. Smith sets the pick for Jennings. Feeds it to Smith. Clock at 6. Into Drummond. Nice pass, nice catch, and a resounding dunk.
Now that's finishing your work right there.
Powerful two-hand jam, you're right.
If he's got a few more of those in him, this lead will really start shrinking. I love what they're doing, trying to put the hammer down, attacking the basket when they can.
Talk about being on his game. Look at the numbers for Hill. He's got 24 points, and also those active hands of his have led to a pair of steals.
Yeah, Clark, he's had a great presence defensively. He's thrown off their rhythm on several occasions.
Free throw drops for Hill. A bit under 3.5 minutes have passed here in the fourth. Outside Jennings. Smith on the wing. From deep. Pacers with the rebound. West has got his 4th rebound in this one. Now Hill. Outside, George. Floats one up. Count that one. George has got 26 points.
I love the flow that they've been playing with offensively tonight. This is an impressive performance.
Well, and that lead they have just continues to grow and grow.
And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession.
Boy, did they ever make a mess out of that one. Terrible turnover.
Monroe's checked in for the Pistons. Here's Indiana now. They've got a 12-2 run in progress. And here is Hill. George sets a screen for Hill. West a screen on Jennings. Hill passes to West. Shot clock at 6. And George, here we go. The second chance effort. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
Another bucket in the paint. That's something they just have not been able to stop today.
I think it's time to make some adjustments defensively, Clark. I mean, what they've got going right now is not getting it done.
At the line from your Pacers, Roy Hibbert. Shooting one.
Free throw, good. Hibbert.
Well, I think the NBA is in a great place with all the young talent in the league right now. We see players coming in not just with potential, but a willingness to learn and work. Really impressive to see.
Now here's Drummond. It's back to Jennings.
Well, I never got to compete in a dunk contest, but I've seen more than a few at All-Star Weekend. It's just amazing what players today can do in the air. Still, I think my favorite dunker of all time was Julius Erving. Watching him in transition was just a thing of beauty.
Now here is Hill, following the miss by Jennings. Pass to George. Kicks to Hibbert. Back to George. Shoots from the line. Rebounded by the Pistons. Jennings with the ball. Passes to Smith. And the foul goes on Roy Hibbert. Now here is Monroe. Dishes to Caldwell Pope. Good on the three-point shot. Clark, dunks are becoming increasingly more complex, whether they're in game or during events.
Well, the athleticism of the players is just off the charts over the last 2+ decades. So just about everybody, no matter what their size, when you look at NBA guys, can throw it down. And, you know, Steve mentioned his favorite dunker. Mine would have to be probably Dominique Wilkins. His two-handed double clutch sideways tilt throwdowns would have to be up there as well.
Well, you know, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter.
Oh yeah,
my gosh, you can go on and on. There's some
sure could.
Acrobatic guys, high flyers for sure. So it's Detroit now. George Hill missing on the three. Jennings kicks to Caldwell Pope. For three, Smith. And another three for Detroit.
That's 2 bombs in a row from long range.
Yeah, shoddy defense there. Far too slow to react on the closeouts.
Timeout called the Pacers.
He just is not happy with how his team is executing. And they've been on the wrong side of this run. It's time for a momentum shift.
You know, sometimes just getting off the court, taking a break, and coming back out fresh will give you a chance to pull together.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin, during that last break, I heard Frank Vogel addressing his team. He wanted his guys to keep up the intensity, saying, if any of you think this game is over, you're wrong. We've got work to do. I don't want to see any letdown on the defensive end of the floor. Guys, let's watch how it plays out.
Now here is Hill. Shoots from the right block. Hibbert hits the bucket. Hibbert's got 10 points here in the second half. Pistons trail by 17. It's Jennings with the drive. Fires the three. David West grabs the miss. West has got 6 rebounds in the game. Hill dishes to George. Hibbert with a screen for George. Stuckey outside. Puts up a three. Again missing Hill. Detroit's gotten off 4 3-pointers in the final quarter, and 2 of them have fallen. Smith outside, trying his luck deep. Hill pulls it in. Indiana leading by 17. The feed to George. Picked by West. And George kicks to Hibbert. And stolen by Drummond. Jennings against Stuckey.
Brandon Jennings so quick, a left-handed speed demon. You know, as quick as he is off the bounce, he's not as good of a finisher inside as you might expect. I think sometimes he makes those shots a little more difficult than they need to be.
And for Jennings, it's not just finishing at the rim. His percentages from mid-range and in between have room for growth too. He's tried to develop a floater, but working on those 1 or 2 dribble pull-ups should also be an area of focus for him.
The first free throw is good. As we're talking about Jennings finishing inside, so much of that is a mastery of angles. Steve, I know you're really mesmerized by the whole study of angles and the way players attack certain defenses, finding that space where the shot blocker can't get to it.
Yeah, geometry, Kevin. It's fascinating. And, you know, he could benefit from watching a guy like Tony Parker. He's the master at beating the big man to the backboard by putting that shot up quickly to use the rim to protect his shot.
Now here is Hill. He feeds it to Hibbert. The rebound by Caldwell Pope. Pistons trail by 15. Jennings passes to Drummond. Jennings dishes to Caldwell Pope. Pass to Monroe. West with some nice D. Indiana's gone downtown 13 times in this game, and they're just over 50%. 7 of 13 on threes. Hibbert with a screen on Jennings. It's Hibbert with the drive. The kick out to Hill. 6 on the shot clock. It's Drummond with the rebound. Drummond's got the glass covered here tonight. 11 boards for him. Jennings kicks to Monroe. And Hibbert with the block. Pacers with the rebound. George has got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. West with the ball. Now Smith defending. Hibbert the pass to West. Hibbert kicks to Stuckey. And the Pacers can't get it to go. Pistons trail by 15. Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Difficult shot from mid-range, and the defense was all over him.
Boy, I like the close out there, Steve. Well done.
Now here is George following the miss by Jennings. There's the pass to Hibbert. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Hibbert's got 7 points for the quarter.
You know, they've been able to depend on his offense all game long, guys. He's drained a lot of shots out here.
And between now and the horn, Steve, the ball should be in his hands as much as possible if they want to continue to build this lead.
Time called here. The Pistons decide to talk it over.
You know, he just isn't pleased at all with the looks they've given up defensively inside. So I think this timeout is all about trying to get his group to tighten up defensively.
They just don't look very sharp to me on the defensive side.
West against Monroe. Smith left side. In the corner, Drummond with it. Back to Smith. Shot clock at 6. That is good. Smith's got 10 points here in the second half.
Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
Pacers leading by 15. Outside Hill. To the wing on the left. Here's West. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. And that's now 19 points for David West.
Had so much space there. The defense really not showing him the respect. You could see his eyes get wide.
Jennings against Hill. The dish now to Smith. The jump hook, and he gets it to go.
He's definitely turned things around in this game. I mean, he was more of a background player in the first half. He's jumped center stage now.
1:31 left here in the fourth quarter. Here's Hill. George sets a screen for Hill. He dishes it to Hibbert. And they force the shot clock violation. Great D.
You know, over the years, we've seen injuries bother the same people over the course of their careers, while other players seem to stay healthy. And it may be just genetic makeup. It could be off-season training, but it does seem that staying healthy can also almost be considered a skill rather than just luck of the draw.
Jennings dishes to Monroe. He kicks to Drummond, and stolen by Hibbert.
Well, what we saw here tonight is one team just had everything going for it, and the other didn't. Huge margin of victory for the Pacers.
I agree, Steve, and this is a game where the defense, Clark Steele specifically, generating a lot of opportunities.
And it created extra possessions for him too, Kevin. Scoring opportunities they cashed in on, and that effort, a big part of what will be a nice victory tonight.
Monroe with a screen on Hill. Jennings passes to Drummond. Jennings kicks to Smith. 5 on the clock. Smith left side. And he gets it to go.
He is setting this place on fire, fellas. His shooting has been off the charts.
Indiana's gone a disappointing 2 of 6 on three-point attempts here in the fourth. Outside Hill. So no problem for Indiana as they get the win. And this one was such a lopsided victory.
They never let up. They were full throttle from the start.
And now let's catch up with Doris Burke, who's standing by on the sideline. Doris?
Guys, Paul George standing by with me here. And Paul, first, congratulations on the win. What's the attitude you have as a team right now?
Continue to, play together. And we can just stick to that, keep working, staying confident, keep defending, and knocking shots down. We'll be all right.
Paul, thank you so much. Guys, over to you.
Thank you, Doris, for that. And now for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan saying see you next time as we present our Jordan Player of the Game, George Hill.